You booked the ticket, packed the bags, and flew thousands of miles to be here, live, in person, at the World Cup, ticket in hand, adrenaline through the roof. Then you walk up to the stadium gate and everything falls apart. In Dallas, the security officer looks at you like you're a person of interest. They dig through every corner of your bag, scan your pass, check your ID, and 45 seconds later, you're through. It felt exactly like clearing international departures. In Mexico City, the guy at the gate takes one casual glance into your backpack, flashes a massive grin, and waves you straight in like you're a relative showing up to his family barbecue. Total time? 12 seconds. In Toronto, the security guard spots you in line and completely unprompted apologizes to you. No reason given. Nothing went wrong. They just apologize. Because that's what Canadians do. Same tournament, same ticket. 3 completely different planets. And here's the truth that no travel website will ever bother telling you. The culture shock doesn't wait until you're inside the stadium. It hits you the second your feet touch the ground. When you're trying to calculate a tip and have absolutely no idea what the right number is. When you order a drink and can't figure out why the price at the register doesn't match the sign. When you're desperately sprinting around looking for a bathroom and don't even know if you need coins. Today, we're pulling the 12 biggest culture shocks from all 3 host nations, the United States, Mexico, and Canada, and throwing them into 5 head-to-head rounds to answer one single question. Which country actually gives you the smoothest landing? Let's get into it. Let's start with the topic that keeps every international fan up at night before the trip: money. More specifically, that delightful little ritual known as tipping. In the US, 18 to 20% is not a cute little thank you. It's an unwritten social contract. Servers there earn a base wage so low, it's basically decorative tips are how they actually pay rent. But in return, you get world-class, laser-focused service. Your water glass dips below halfway, and your server materializes out of thin air to top it up. It's a two-way deal, and it genuinely works. Down in Mexico, 10 to 15% hits the sweet spot. It feels like an actual reward, not a ransom payment. But here's the single most important survival tip of your entire trip. Always tip in cash. If you add it to your card, that money often gets eaten by taxes or delays, and your server might never see a single peso of it. Then there's Canada. 15% used to be the polite, universally accepted standard. But now, the iPad at the payment counter has basically become a national threat, aggressively suggesting 20% or 25% just to hand you a drip coffee the barista barely had to touch. Here's the real move. 15% is still completely acceptable. You just have to be brave enough to tap custom amount and completely ignore whatever the machine thinks about you. And if you think tipping is already a nightmare, wait until you try to buy a jersey. In Mexico, the tag says $30, you pay exactly $30. Tax is already built into the price. Clean, easy, zero surprises. The one catch? Card machines here have a habit of going dark at the worst possible moment. So keep cash on you. In the US and Canada, that price tag is more of a starting suggestion. You pick up the jersey, carry it to the register, and suddenly, the number jumps. Sales tax gets slapped on at checkout, and it changes in every single US state and every Canadian province, with no consistent logic whatsoever. Mexico takes round 1, and it isn't even close. The money system here is the only thing on this entire trip that isn't trying to confuse you. The money trap is behind you. Now we hit something even more disorienting: time. Specifically, you have a dinner planned for 7 p.m. The real question is, what does 7 p.m. actually mean? In the US, 7 p.m. means you've already parked the car by 6:55. Show up at 7:02, and your friend has already texted, "Where are you?" For Americans, being on time isn't a courtesy, it's the bare minimum of respect. In Mexico, 7 p.m. means somewhere around 7:30. Maybe 8:15. The host is literally still in the shower. Welcome to the world of ahorita, a word that technically translates to "in a little while," but functionally means sometime between right now and the heat death of the universe. The warmth and hospitality are genuinely incredible, but if you're trying to rally a group to make kickoff, this elastic relationship with time will completely destroy your plans. In Canada, 7 p.m. means exactly 7 p.m., but if a Canadian shows up at 7:05, they will sincerely apologize to you for the entire rest of the evening for being 5 minutes late. The time crisis is behind you, and you've finally met up with the people you came to see. Now, how do you actually talk to them? A stranger in the US walks past and asks, "How's it going?" Listen very carefully. Do not answer that question honestly. It is not an invitation to open up. It's a highly efficient social greeting that respects your personal space. The only socially acceptable response is, "Good, you," and keep moving. A stranger in Mexico? They're asking because they genuinely want to know. Within 20 minutes, they'll ask about your family, roast your team's last performance, and invite you over to watch the next match at their place. If you're from Northern Europe, your personal space bubble is about to be absolutely shattered, and you'll secretly love it. And Canadians? While you're standing in the stadium food line, the person behind you will wave you ahead without you asking. And if you accidentally step on their foot, they will scientifically work out how it was actually their fault and apologize to you before you can say a word. Canada takes round 2. When you don't know the rules of a foreign country, being surrounded by people who constantly apologize to you is the single safest survival strategy on Earth. Mexico has elite-level hospitality, but the time warping will wreck your schedule. The US is punctual and efficient once you know how to play the game. You've survived the social gauntlet. Now you need food and something to drink. You walk up to a counter and order a medium, the safe, reasonable choice. In Mexico or Canada, they hand you 16 ounces, a completely rational amount of liquid. In the US, a medium is 21 ounces. The American medium is literally the rest of the world's large. And an American large? A 3-2-ounce bucket. And the most unhinged part, free refills. You can legally sit there and pour nearly 4 liters of pure syrup into your body for $2 until your heart starts beating in its own time signature. The value for money is genuinely unbeatable. Your kidneys, however, will not be sending a thank you note. The food matches the cups. A single plate at an American restaurant could realistically feed your entire group. But here's the move nobody tells you about. Boxing up your leftovers isn't just accepted, it's a mandatory survival strategy. Those takeout boxes are so massive, they'll fuel you through the entire next match day. In Mexico, you can box up a little, but it's more of a light snack than a full meal. In Canada, perfectly normal to ask, but the server will apologize to you for accidentally making the portion size too big in the first place. Survival tip: when you're in the States, swallow your pride and just order the small. Now let's talk about the holiest element of football culture: beer. Here's the scenario that catches international fans off guard every single tournament. You've bought your beer, you're walking from the stadium entrance toward the stands, still inside the venue, not yet at your seat, can in hand, feeling completely fine. In the US, doing that outside the designated zone can be an immediate legal violation. Open container laws are ruthless. The upside? All that energy gets redirected into the stadium parking lots, creating the greatest tailgate parties on the planet. In Mexico, technically carrying a beer in public can get you in trouble too. But around the stadium on match days, enforcement is famously flexible. Just don't push your luck outside the fan zones, that's where things can get complicated fast. Canada is evolving, but it's a bureaucratic maze. Ontario recently expanded the list of parks where you can legally crack open a beer outdoors. But step 1 inch outside that invisible boundary line, or try walking toward the street with your drink in hand, instant violation. And then, there's the wildest part of all, the drinking age. Mexico, 18. Canada, 19. Though it drops to 18 inches, provinces like Quebec and Alberta. The United States, 21, which means a 19-year-old fan can legally drink in Mexico City, fly up to Toronto, and legally celebrate a win, then land in Dallas and get flatly refused when they try to order a single light beer. Same tournament. 3 completely different sets of ID laws. Mexico takes round 3 with the most relaxed rules overall, but the US tailgating culture and the sheer scale of the portions keep them firmly in the race. You've eaten, you've had a drink, hopefully legally, and now, it's match day. Here is your brutal World Cup reality check. The FIFA referee does not run on Mexican time, and he genuinely does not care about your Canadian apology. Kickoff is absolute. Arrive early. You made it to the stadium. And if you're walking up to a US venue, brace yourself. What's about to happen feels exactly like boarding an international flight. Even though this is a FIFA tournament, you are stepping into NFL stadiums, so listen carefully. Clear bags only. See-through plastic. If your bag isn't completely transparent, they will turn you away at the gate. No exceptions. No negotiations. That's the rule, and it does not bend. The trade-off? These billion-dollar stadiums are genuine architectural achievements. They move 80,000 people with the precision of a military operation. No crushing, no bottlenecks, no chaos. The infrastructure here is a masterclass in crowd management at the highest possible level. Mexico? Security is there, but it's a much lighter touch. A quick look inside your bag, maybe a pat on the back, and you're through. The downside is the concourses and entry gates can feel quite chaotic compared to the clinical efficiency of the US. Canada lands perfectly in the middle standard metal detectors, lines that actually move, and security guards who smile at you like they genuinely mean it. But once you're safely inside, prepare for a language battle you never saw coming. In Mexico, the sport is football. Always has been. Always will be. Call it soccer, and you will receive a look so deeply judgmental, it pierces straight through to your soul. In the US, football means giant men in helmets launching themselves at each other. The round ball? That's soccer. It's not disrespect, it's just their vocabulary. If you're a European fan and you confidently say, "I love football in Dallas," a local will immediately start debating Patrick Mahomes with full passion, and you'll both walk away completely confused about what just happened. Canada is having a mild identity crisis. In English-speaking areas, soccer is still dominant, though Gen Z occasionally drops football. Head east to French-speaking regions like Montreal, and they call it le soccer, while football there means the American sport. Here's the ultimate cheat code to avoid the whole culture war entirely. Just say the match, or better yet, just point at the TV screen. Zero confusion, zero conflict. Works every single time. The US takes round 4 through sheer billion-dollar organizational power. The teams running these venues aren't just world-class. They're the standard the rest of the world measures itself against. We are down to the final round, and it starts with the most basic, urgent human need you will ever have: finding a bathroom. In the US, public bathrooms are technically free. The problem is actually finding one. Many downtown restaurants will flat out refuse to let you in, unless you've bought something. Your ultimate survival hack? Find the nearest Starbucks. There's one every 3 blocks. The air conditioning is incredible, and nobody asks any questions. In Mexico, bathrooms are everywhere. Bus stations, markets, public squares. You will never be stranded. The cost? About 25 cents, which is completely fair for a clean stall. But here is the life-saving tip that could genuinely rescue you from a disaster. In older areas and markets, do not flush the toilet paper. It goes in the small bin next to the toilet. The older pipes simply cannot handle it. If you ignore this, you are creating a serious problem for everyone who comes after you. And Canada? Finding a public bathroom here is genuinely a consequence-free experience. Almost always free, easy to access, and shockingly clean. No coins required, and the plumbing actually works the way plumbing is supposed to work. You've survived the bathroom crisis. You step back outside, open your weather app to check conditions for your 3 p.m. match, and it says 95 degrees. You look down at what you're wearing and have absolutely no idea if you're underdressed or about to melt. Full panic. If you're American, you put on sunscreen and move on. If you're from literally anywhere else on Earth, you think you are about to be slow-cooked alive on the sidewalk. Because 95 degrees Fahrenheit is actually just 35 degrees Celsius. Hot? Yes. Apocalyptic? No. The US is one of only a handful of places on the planet still using Fahrenheit. Mexico runs clean metric across the board. Celsius, kilometers, kilograms. The rest of the world will feel completely at home. And Canada? Canada officially uses metric but is living in a strange parallel universe. They measure weather in Celsius but set their kitchen ovens in Fahrenheit. They drive in kilometers but measure human height in feet and inches. They price their groceries in pounds but legally weigh them in kilograms. Canada is a metric country in the middle of a severe imperial identity crisis, and nobody there seems to find it strange. Download a unit converter app before you land. You will use it more than you expect. Canada takes round 5 because when everything just works the way it's supposed to, you save your mental energy for what actually matters: the football. The rules across these 3 borders are completely chaotic. So here is your master cheat sheet. Lock in these 3 rules for each country, and you'll survive 90% of the culture shocks. Screenshot this right now. The United States. Rule 1. Tip 20%. It pays for service that will genuinely impress you. Rule 2. Show up early to everything. No exceptions. Rule 3. Stadium gear goes in a clear plastic bag. Non-negotiable. Mexico. Rule 1. Tip 10 to 15%. Always in cash. Rule 2. Relax about time, but don't let it wreck your kickoff schedule. Rule 3. For everything that is good and holy in this world, put the toilet paper in the bin. Canada. Rule 1. Apologize for literally everything. It works. Rule 2. Tip the polite 15% baseline and confidently ignore whatever the iPad says. Rule 3. Download a unit converter app. Driving in kilometers while baking in Fahrenheit will test your mathematical sanity. You know the rules. You know the laws. 5 rounds played. Here are the results. Mexico finishes strong with 2 rounds won. Canada right behind, also taking 2 rounds. The United States takes 1 big one. It's a dead heat between Mexico and Canada for the smoothest landing. For the majority of international fans, Mexico's everyday systems feel instantly familiar. They use the metric system. The price you see is the price you pay. Tipping pressure is low, and the people will make you feel like family within minutes. Canada is your safest possible landing. Everything functions exactly as it should. Everyone is almost aggressively polite. You might not fully understand how they measure things, but they will apologize to you for the confusion. And the US? Winning just 1 round does not make the United States a bad host. It just means the US plays by a completely different set of rules. The tipping fund's world-class service, the clear bag policy makes stadium entry seamless, and the portion sizes deliver value that is almost impossible to argue with. Once you understand the rules, it is a genuinely extraordinary experience. Almost nobody warns you about the unwritten ones. That is exactly what this video is for. 12 culture shocks. 3 host nations with completely different rulebooks. 1 enormous World Cup. And now you actually know how to navigate all of it. But here's the question I really want you to think about. If you could only pick one of these 3 countries to watch the final, live, in person, which one would you choose? And why? Drop it in the comments. I want to read this debate. What's next? We're going deeper into stadium food. What you can actually buy inside the venues, across all 3 countries, what it costs, and which one gives you the most value for your money. It is going to be a lot. Hit subscribe. 3 countries. 1 cup. I'll see you there.